Good morning, everybody. How you guys doing? This is good old Grandmaster Evan, and you're watching the anonymous Liberty Media at 2:13 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I've been kind of happy, but also in shock a little bit. You're saying just a little bit. Now, before I go on to talk about it, question is, can you go to jail for posting stuff on Facebook and Twitter that are not threatening? Just a comment here, comment there. Just a simple, civil, non-threatening post or tweet. See, well, now I can understand that if you post any threats or anything like that, you can be going to jail. You could be going away for a while over a thing called terrorist threats, which is illegal if you call and leave a threatening on someone's voicemail or someone's answering machine or some shit like that. But about a few years ago, there was a veteran that posted some stuff on Facebook, and he actually got they came out. They took him into a psych ward because they deemed him insane. But nobody knew where he was. They did not know where he was at. So he went in front of a judge. The judge said what happened to him was illegal because of what he put on Facebook. So I would think more likely that they should have had a warrant signed by a judge, done by a lawyer. But the local law enforcement took him in to a mental institution, psych ward, an asylum, because he posted some stuff on Facebook, which was basically calling out a few people, talking about a couple of things that caught the eye of the local law enforcement. And but now I'm wondering. I mean, I can understand you could get into some serious trouble over a post, a video, and whatnot, or tweet. And you can have your account taken down. Everything about you is deleted. You are gone. You are deplatformed. But I've been thinking about a couple of things today. One is that Jefferey Epstein was arrested this past weekend for trafficking. And he has a home in New York, has a home in Florida, and he has a home on an island that he owns. And so, Bill and Hillary are, if you look at them right now, I bet anything that they are scared shitless. Now, we all know that we all know throughout the years that anybody who has ties with Bill or Hillary and knows some shit, out of the blue, they end up missing and found dead of apparent what? Suicide. I'm sorry. apparent suicide. Now, it does come into question is that there were flight logs about Bill Clinton that he went to Jeffrey Epstein's orgy island. A lot of financial specialists, politicians, even some of the Hollywood stars and athletes and shit like that, and even some royalty went over to the island and doodled with underage girls. And we all know that Bill Clinton went there the most. I mean, we all know he's one big sex fiend. You know, he's a. The guy's in his 70s. He doesn't seem to understand that. Look, he might have a disease, man. I mean, shit, he's been banging chicks for almost 50 years. And he might have caught something, or he might have gave something to them. But the thing is, the Clinton Library is refusing to hand over anything pertaining to the connection between Clinton and Epstein. Now, here's my question. Now, this is a good question here. Would Harvey Weinstein be named since he's connected himself? It is a good question. It is a good question because he got into some hot water. He lost his company. He was fired. He was fired from the company he founded. And it does not look good, but they deserve it. Prison time. Okay, prison time. Because if you commit a crime, you have to do the time. If you don't want to do the time, don't do the crime. Because knowing that you would pretty much lemonade. It's a Cascade ice. It's 0 calories lemonade type shit. Pretty good. If you don't want to do the time, don't do the crime. Of course, if you do the crime, you will do time. My opinion is that Jeffrey Epstein is very connected. Now, if I was a federal district attorney, I would have his assets frozen. And where he cannot be, where I would freeze his assets and then take his passport. I would pull a Rudy Giuliani, starting to take people down. No bullshit. But you know, when you look at people like Harvey Weinstein, Bill Clinton, Jeffrey Epstein, and then you got the attorney that was also involved, and Dershowitz is his name. But you have to really kind of question this shit though. Question it because it's a change. Hillary is terrified, and she should be, because she went there too, at least 22 times or so. There's a lot of her shit on the Anthony Weiner computer. A lot of shit. Now, you gotta see it from a certain point of view. Now the victims, even though for them the statute of limitation passed, they can also still be a witness of what Jeffrey Epstein did. And there's a lot of questions on why do people do this shit. Now, if you go back to the early '90s, the Discovery Channel had a documentary that was forced to be pulled because it was a politically motivated stunt to protect one person, and it revolved around Boys Town and prominent politicians and law enforcement. It revolved around Boys Town, Johnny Gosh. Where's he at? There was a lot of prominent politicians, and the FBI made it all go away. I thought the FBI was supposed to be Federal Bureau of Investigation, not going after the victims and shit. I thought the FBI was supposed to help people, not coercion to not testify against their victimizers and shit. It just that it's changing to a point that around Boys Town, around in the '90s, late '80s, early '90s. I remember seeing it. Someone smuggled it and actually released it on YouTube. And even though it's been almost 30 years, YouTube is trying to pull it off the website, pull it off the citizenship. But if you really want to understand why, it's because they're trying to protect the people at the time that was prominent politicians that were pedophiles and shit. People in power are sleaze. If you want to know the full truth about Boys Town, type in Boys Town controversy, and there's the a documentary that was forced by it was pulled, and it was controversial, but there was a lot of information. Now there's a young man that wore a cowboy hat and smoked and shit. He was found dead of a overdose of a drug overdose because he was a victim of Lawrence something Lawrence. he was a big deal. He was a big deal in Nebraska. They didn't get him on molestation or statutory rape. They got him on tax evasion. They couldn't get him on the pedophilia or the trafficking. We call it. They got him on tax evasion instead. And there's been a lot of trafficking being taken down. And a lot of over in Europe, here in North America, South America, they're all taking down these child trafficking, child sex trafficking and shit like that. And but Johnny Gosh, nobody knows where he's at or who or where he's at. Um, I mean, in Iowa, where he lived with his mom and dad, um, there's reports that he let his son get kidnapped because usually his dad's with him. At the time, this was '82. I was about what 6 years old and shit in '82. So he was delivering papers and stuff, just to earn money for a dirt bike. And during that area, a lot of kids were kidnapped during that time. Some found alive, some found dead. Some were forced into prostitution and shit, for prominent politicians, for prominent whoever, celebrities, people in politics, some in the industry. If you listen to Corey Feldman and Corey Haim before Haim died, and now if you watch the two Coreys, it will start to realize that Corey Haim was just clean, healthy as hell, good actor, liked the guy. Corey Feldman was also a victim, but also jealous of Corey Haim. Even though he was a victim, Corey Feldman is still friends with his accuser, the guy that molested him and shit. So how could you be a victim and still maintain a friendship with the guy that molested you at 14 and shit? Hypocrisy has no bounds, people. No bounds. But check out the Discovery Channel's controversial documentary that was pulled back in '91. This was about 1991. I was about 15 years old back then. 15 years old. I think I was already about 15 or just turned 15 at the time. And there's a lot of political power that forced the network to pull that. See, I mean, there's a lot of financial and political pressure to remove a certain documentary and shit. Um, there's a lot of controversy about that in the very early 90s. This was like 1991. And a lot of financial and political power made it all go away. And the FBI was involved in it too. That's right. They all were involved in it. But Jeffrey Epstein was arrested. He's looking at 45 years. And if it takes a plea, there's a plea deal already being made that if he takes the plea, he'll do 5 years. Now, is that justice? Now, the plea is, from what I've heard so far, if he takes a plea and name the people that were involved in his little world of of trafficking and shit, he would get 5 years. Now, the way I see it, it's a good deal, but 5 years? That's 5 years is like a slap on the wrist. 5 years is basically a slap on the wrist. He'll do five. He'll be sentenced to 5 years. Get out in 3. No, no, no. I would say, you know what? No, no deal, no plea deal until, because the thing is, if I was a judge, I would say fuck it. That's basically a slap on the wrist. Fuck it. No, no, because it's like the last time he did 15 months. If he sentenced 5 years, he'll get out either in 2 or 3 years of a 5-year sentence. But here's the thing: I would rather see him go away, but also basically make him name people. That's I mean, you can't lie on the flight on the on the flight records of Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton going to his island and shit. But Donald Trump did ban Jeffrey Epstein from his Mar-a-Lago home in Mar-a-Lago. I think that's probably the best way to do it, is just put him away for a long time. That's just a start. Start. But we all know that the media would help him out by saying that the person that got his case won was lying. He's lying. There's no proof. Shut the fuck up, media. You know nothing. The guys in jail. He was written by court. Saw a judge. He's looking at 45 years. Now, here's what bugs me. Okay. Chelsea Manning was looking at. She was sentenced to 35 years for blowing a whistle. Okay, 35 years. They gave Barrett Brown 100 years. Also for blowing a whistle. Now, they, they're wanting to give Julian Assange 175 years for telling the truth. Now, here's what pissed me off. Anybody that was committed a sex crime so heinous are getting off. They're getting off. And like that standard ground law. Nobody's going to prison on that. I mean, look at was it the name was it something Zimmerman? He shot Trayvon Martin. On that standard ground law. I don't know why anybody would come up with that law. I mean, you could be preaching the gospel in public, all of a sudden somebody shoots you and say, it was self-defense, it was the standard ground law in Florida. I don't get it. I don't get it, If you're a hacker and you expose wrongdoing, you're looking at life, no parole. But a child molester or a rapist does what? Not even 10 years, not even 5 years. Like there, the incident in Stanford, the little bastard raped a woman that was unconscious behind a dumpster. His 20 minutes got him off because his dad wrote the judge a letter. That fucker should have got at least 25 to 30 years for what he did. Because you gotta understand, look, if your kid fucks up and does that shit, look, the evidence there, they're going to wait for a long time. And they're going to wait for a long time. There's a movie that I've seen a few years ago, and it was called Bully. And it had Bijou Phillips in it. Her dad is John Phillips of the Mama and Papa's fame, and she was in it. It's about this kid that he was bullied, man. He was bullied and shit, and he had a best friend that bullied him and shit. Even though they were friends, he still bullied him and shit. So, and he got tired of it, and his friend that bullied him was into gay porn and shit. So, and he was seeing this girl, and came close, started dating and shit. And towards the end of the film, this was based on a true story and shit. And they all pitched in one by one. They each pitched in and shit. And the kid that got bullied, he ended up killing his friend. He ended up getting sentenced to death. And the girl that was seeing, she was sentenced to was it 10 to 40 years. She did, I think it was 10 or 12 years. She got out, and she cut ties with the guy that she was seeing and the father of her child that was sentenced to death. And it was a very weird case. And it was just insane. Things happen, and it just that these cases just really make no sense. Now murder is murder. You're going to prison for murder. Okay, there's no statute for that. If you commit a murder, it is like you're going away for a life with no parole, or you could be sentenced to death. Period. Now, in the case of with whistleblowers that are getting screwed over, they're getting screwed. They're being sentenced to up to 100 years and shit. Because if you're a whistleblower, you will face the full wrath of the U.S. government. Nixon Nixon tried to Nixon tried to sue the New York Times during the Pentagon Papers and shit, and it was First Amendment. Dan Ellsberg was arrested, and he was looking at life, no parole, but life, basically life. But he blew the whistle, and there's a lot of things happening, and the worst thing is that during the Bush administration, whatever happens then, under the second Bush administration, Obama made sure they paid. This is where he was like, "You blow the whistle, I'm gonna stick my foot up your ass, and you're going away for good." So, but the thing is, Obama was a tyrant himself. He did not care about. All he cared about was tearing things up. It was an ego trip for 8 fucking years. An ego and a power trip that was 8 years in hell. Yeah, we had hell with under Bush, under Clinton. I mean, shit. You know, every time when there's a new president coming in, it's the same old song and dance, no matter what party it is. But now we got someone that's doing his job, but it seems that some dumb motherfuckers don't like the change. They hit the change. Here you got Epstein going to that's locked up. His bail was denied. He ain't getting out. Um, he's looking at almost 50 years, and you, you kind of wonder why was he offered 5 years in a plea deal? If I was the judge, I would say fuck it. No, no, he's getting the full 50. Even if he does 30, he's dead in prison. Once he ends up in prison, dude, he's dead. He's dead because he has ties to Bill and Hillary, and if they wanted to, they could have him look like he committed suicide and shit by some inmates or some guards and shit. But the guards will probably be patches and shit. Hey, you do this for us, we'll make sure you get a good raise or whatever. But anybody with ties to Hillary or Bill out of nowhere ends up dead. Look at Vince Foster. Look at Seth Rich. I mean, come on. Look at those boys in Arkansas. They were torn to pieces by a train, dude. And Blood Jack Hayes, the famous wrestler, talked about it, man. Like, dude. I mean, this guy was a big motherfucker from Portland, Oregon. He was a wrestler, also a bodyguard for the Clintons and shit. He knows a lot of shit, and I'm surprised he started talking because if you knew shit from back in the day, dude, you're lucky you ain't floating in the river and shit in Arkansas or in Oregon and shit. Because Bill and Hillary does not want any stone unturned. Now I got Epstein in jail and shit, and could there be a chance that Epstein might be assassinated? Probably, because he knows too much. He knows that a lot of people from politicians, actors in Hollywood and shit, people from music and shit, fuck, anywhere from any background, dude. Somebody did something there. And if you know shit, I mean, if you know shit that could put the Clintons in prison, dude, there could be a good chance that Epstein could be end up dead. I mean, surprised Larry Nichols didn't end up dead because he knows a lot of shit about the Clintons. You know what I'm saying? It's just that. I mean, a lot of shit that's been going down, dude. It is fucking insane. It is downright insane because you're thinking, will they make it to a trial? It's a good question. But the thing is, if he does take the plea and does get 5 years and does start talking, and even mentioned Bill Clinton, holy shit, wow, somebody's dead. Somebody's going to die because tell you what, anybody that does that, they're going away. They're going away and end up floating somewhere. And shit, look at Seth Rich. Dude worked for the DNC as a IT tech guy, and he knew a lot of shit. He sent some information to WikiLeaks and shit, dude. Like he got shot 4 times. He managed to survive, but along the way, the doctor that took care of him was a friend of Bill Clinton. Anybody tied to Bill Clinton, holy crap, they're dead. I mean, shit. If you worked in the White House, the Clinton White House, holy crap, you are gone, my friend. You are dead because you know too much. There was a couple of there was about was it a few Arkansas state troopers that were found mysteriously dead, including the wife of one. Um, but I have a feeling that somebody is going to take out Epstein. If he's in prison, that's one opportunity. But if he gets out after serving what 5 years and shit, he's gone. He's dead because he knows that Bill Clinton went to Island and had relations with underage girls. And he knows shit that could put him in the grave, man. If you know shit, if you know shit, your best chance is to stay in fucking prison. Because now, James Files, for example, he was the guy on the grassy knoll when Kennedy got shot in '63. Now, he's serving what 20, 20 years for armed robbery and shit, or was it 30 years, or whatever? He ain't getting out. He said he's safer in prison than out here because he knows shit. And if he gets out, holy crap, boom, somebody's taking his ass out. He know he's the guy that was at the grassy knoll that fired a shot that blew up Kennedy's skull and shit. So if I was Epstein, I would keep my ass in fucking prison. In protective custody. Because knowing that Bill and Hillary can find a way to get to his ass, you know. Bill and Hillary can find a way to get to the guy. All he has to do is make a phone call to somebody and boom. Epstein is fucking dead. Simple as that. Or he could be placed in he could be put in protective custody. And if I was Epstein, I would name names just to save my ass. Because then we will find out that, hey, look, we already know this shit. It's no bullshit. It's no bullshit, you know. You gotta think here. What are the odds? What are the odds of somebody that did know, is going to go away 6 feet under? You gotta understand that because Bill and Hillary is afraid of one thing: going to prison. Okay, going to prison. And because he was a pedophile in chief. He was a sexual predator in chief. Could you imagine if Hillary became president and someone called her the commander in chief? It's funny. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander in chief, Hillary Clinton. The commander in chief. Nice. Donald Baker, you're fucking funny, dude. But the thing is, would the judge dismiss the plea, say fuck no to the plea, and say, look, he's getting the 50 years, the 45 years, and he will talk? Or there'll be additional 50 plus years and shit. Imagine that. 100 years for basically violating each young girl. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is good old Grandmaster Revenue. And if you're new to this channel, please leave a like, subscribe, comment below, and do not forget to hit the bell for notification. And if you got this transmission, you are the resistance. Remember, knowledge is free. If you ain't down with that, we got 3 words for you. Go fuck yourself. Peace out. I'm Revan. You're not. Fuck you. I'm out.